All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various development projects worth 22,000 crore rupees in Gujarat today, to also inaugurate Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit in Gandhinagar. Prime Minister holds talks with WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, says Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar aims to bring ancient wisdom and modern science together. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says Atlantic Council in Washington DC, India took big decision of not to levy tax on people to get out of the pandemic. Centre asked Delhi and 4 other states to take prompt and effective measures over surge in COVID cases. UGC eases norms for dual and joint degrees with foreign varsities. Lashkar-e-Taiba's commander Sheikh Sajjad notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. At least 6 people killed, including students, after a series of explosions hit capital city Kabul in Afghanistan. Odisha defeat Manipur by a solitary goal in Santosh Trophy, and in IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore beat Lucknow Super Giants by 18 runs in Mumbai last night. As the nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events have been organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. Recalling yesterday's question, one of the first women martyrs of the freedom movement participated in the Chittagong Armory raid along with Surya Sen. Name the revolutionary who made supreme sacrifice at the age of 21 years. The correct answer is Pritilata Wadedar. AIR News got an overwhelming response from its listeners across the world, and the one lucky winner of the quiz is Stanzin Speldan from Hundar in Nubra in Dishkit Leh in Ladakh.
My name is Stanzin Speldan and I'm from a village called Hundar Nubra, Leh Ladakh. It's my privilege to win this Amrit Mahotsav quiz. I'm a regular listener of All India Radio News. It helps me to increase my day-to-day knowledge and also keeps me updated about the world. Thank you.
The next question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with the listeners on Monday, 25th April. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News.
And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar, Gujarat at 10:30 a.m. today. The Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Kumar Jagannath, and Director General of World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, will also be present at the occasion. More details from our correspondent.
The 3-day Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit will witness 5 plenary sessions, 8 roundtables, 6 workshops and 2 symposiums. About 90 eminent speakers and 100 exhibitors will also participate in the summit. The summit will also uncover investment potential and give a fillip to innovation, research and development, startup ecosystem and the wellness industry. It will help bring together industry leaders, academicians and scholars together and act as a platform for future collaboration. Prime Minister Modi will also attend the Adijati Mahasammelan in Dahood later today. He will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of various development projects worth of 22,000 crore rupees. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The Prime Minister will inaugurate projects worth over 1,400 crore rupees in Dahood. He will inaugurate Dahood District Southern Area Regional Water Supply Scheme on the Narmada River Basin. The scheme was completed at 840 crore rupees. It will cater to the water supply needs of around 280 villages in Dahood district and Devgarh Baria city. Mr. Modi will also inaugurate 5 projects of Dahod Smart City worth 335 crore rupees. These projects include Integrated Command and Control Center ICCC building, stormwater drainage system, sewerage works, solid waste management system and rainwater harvesting system. Under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, benefits worth 120 crore rupees will be provided to 10,000 tribals of Panchmahal and Dahod districts. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate 66 kV Ghodia substation, panchayat houses, Anganwadis among others. He will also lay the foundation stone for manufacturing of 9,000 HP electric locomotives at the production unit in Dahod. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of various projects of the state government worth around 550 crore rupees. This includes water supply related projects worth about 300 crore rupees, Dahod Smart City projects worth around 175 crore rupees, works related to Dudimati River project and Getco substation at Ghodia. The Prime Minister has been on a 3-day visit to his home state Gujarat since Monday evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with World Health Organization Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus at Jamnagar, Gujarat last evening. Both dignitaries had met at the foundation stone laying ceremony of WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine. The Prime Minister tweeted that it is always a delight to meet Dr. Tedros and exchange notes on further strengthening the health sector. Mr. Modi said Mr. Tedros always cherishes the influence of Indian teachers in his life, and today he got a lot of praise for his Gujarati skills too. Mr. Modi yesterday laid the foundation stone of the WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar in the presence of the Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Kumar Jagannath, and WHO Chief. Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister of Bhutan, Lothe Tshering, and Prime Minister of Nepal, Sher Bahadur Deoba, conveyed their greetings through a video message for WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said the WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar aims to bring ancient wisdom and modern science together. He said the center should develop the holistic treatment protocol for specific diseases so that patients can benefit from both modern and traditional medicines.
भारत के जो अनुभव है उनको दुनिया के साथ साझा करना भारत अपना दायित्व समझता है। डायबिटीज, ओबेसिटी, डिप्रेशन जैसी अनेक बीमारियों से लड़ने में भारत की योग परंपरा दुनिया के बहुत काम आ रही है। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस के माध्यम से योग प्रचलित हो रहा है और दुनिया भर में लोगों को मानसिक तनाव कम करने में, मन, शरीर, चेतना में संतुलन कायम करने में योग मदद कर रहा है। योग के दायरे का विस्तार करने में भी ये नया संस्थान अहम भूमिका निभाए, ये बहुत आवश्यक है।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said the one big step that the government decided was not to levy tax on people to get out of the pandemic. She said country's revenue to rescue the economy was not going to come from taxing people, hence no COVID tax was levied on anybody. Ms. Sitharaman was speaking at an event organized by the Atlantic Council in Washington, D.C. yesterday. She said when the pandemic came, government realized that the best multiplier that the country will have for recovery of economy would be for the government to spend money in building infrastructure. So, capital expenditure was government's route to recovery. She said the government has made sure that free food grains, pulses and some quantity of cooking gas were distributed to 800 million Indians in 2020. She said the free food grain program continued in 2021 and it continues even now. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written to states of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Maharashtra and Mizoram on increasing COVID cases and positivity rate. The Health Secretary advised them to continue monitoring spread of infection and undertake required steps for prompt and effective management of COVID. He said it is essential that a strict watch is maintained and preemptive action taken to control any emerging spread of the infection. The centers emphasize on the five-fold strategy of test, track, treat, vaccination and adherence to COVID-appropriate behavior. It said laxity at any level may nullify the gains in pandemic management so far and called for regular monitoring and prompt follow-up action in emerging areas of concern.
More than 186 crore 72 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 16 lakh 89,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, a total of 247 new cases were reported in the country. The recovery rate is currently at 98.76%. A total of 928 people have recovered in the last 24 hours. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation on the 400th Prakash Purv of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji at the Red Fort in New Delhi tomorrow. On the auspicious occasion, the Prime Minister will release a commemorative coin and a postage stamp. 400 Ragis will perform Shabad Kirtan on the occasion. Addressing the media in New Delhi about the program, Union Minister of Culture G. Kishan Reddy said Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji stood up for protecting the freedom of dharmic faiths.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will confer the Awards for Excellence in Public Administration 2021 tomorrow to mark the 15th Civil Services Day. The Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions Ministry said Prime Minister Awards for Excellence in Public Administration have been instituted with a view to recognizing the extraordinary and innovative work done by districts and organizations of the central and state governments for the welfare of the people. The Prime Minister will also release e-books on success stories on the implementation of the identified priority programs and innovations. Sugar production in the current sugar season is expected to be 13% higher than the previous sugar season. Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution said, as per the revised estimates, production of sugar is estimated to be about 350 lakh metric ton LMT against estimated domestic consumption of about 278 LMT. It said that there was carryover stock of sugar of about 85 LMT at the beginning of the sugar season 2021-22.
National Apprenticeship Mela 2022 will be organized across the country in more than over 700 locations tomorrow. Skill India, in association with the Directorate General of Training, is organizing the day-long Apprenticeship Mela across the country. Under the initiative, the aim is to support hiring of more than 1 lakh apprentices and assist employers in tapping the right talent and develop it further with training and providing practical skill sets. You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various development projects worth 22,000 crore rupees in Gujarat today, to also inaugurate Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit in Gandhinagar. Prime Minister holds talks with WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, says Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar aims to bring ancient wisdom and modern science together. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says at Atlantic Council in Washington, D.C., India took big decision of not to levy tax on people to get out of the pandemic. Centre asks Delhi and 4 other states to take prompt and effective measures over surge in COVID cases. UGC eases norms for dual and joint degrees with foreign varsities. Lashkar-e-Taiba's commander Sheikh Sajjad notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. At least 6 people killed, including students, after series of explosions hit capital city Kabul in Afghanistan. Odisha defeat Manipur by a solitary goal in Santosh Trophy. And in IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore beat Lucknow Super Giants by 18 runs in Mumbai last night. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी, तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर, या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर, और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का सुलभ और सस्ता माध्यम है आकाशवाणी।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न केंद्रों से कीजिए अपने उत्पादों और सेवाओं का प्रचार विज्ञापनों के माध्यम से।
लोकल और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कीजिए अपने बिजनेस का विस्तार, क्योंकि आकाशवाणी में विज्ञापन बुकिंग हुई बहुत ही आसान।
अब घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे आप कर सकते हैं विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
डायल कीजिए 870-001-4242।
नंबर एक बार फिर नोट करें, 870-001-4242।
Welcome back. You're listening to the morning news. University Grants Commission has taken decision on regulation for academic collaboration between Indian and foreign higher education institution to offer training, joint and dual degree programs. This was announced by UGC Chairman Professor M. Jagdish Kumar in a virtual meeting with media yesterday. The UGC Chairman said this regulation deals with 3 different kinds of programs such as training, joint and dual degree. He said these kinds of training arrangements between Indian and foreign higher education institution will provide a great opportunity to Indian students. Professor Kumar said Indian and foreign higher education institution need to sign an MOU to establish collaboration for joint and dual degree programs. A commander and associate member of terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba, Sheikh Sajjad, has been notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. The Ministry of Home Affairs in a notification said Sheikh Sajjad has been actively radicalizing, motivating and recruiting youth of Jammu and Kashmir to support terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Taiba and has been involved in terror funding. The ministry said Sheikh Sajjad was found involved in hatching criminal conspiracy in eliminating prominent journalists along with his 2 personal security officers in June 2018 in Srinagar.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces recovered a cache of arms and ammunition during a cordon and search operation in Karna area of North Kashmir's Kupwara district yesterday. Giving details, the official sources said that Kupwara police, along with the army, recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, including 10 pistols, 17 pistol magazines, 54 pistol rounds and 5 grenades during a search operation at Hajjam Mohalla in Tad, Karna. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember the freedom fighter and maestro of Hindustani classical flute music, Pandit Pannalal Ghosh, who died on the 20th of April 1960. During his young days at Barisal, Pannalal was active in the freedom struggle, and in the formative phase of his career, he also came under the influence of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore and Qazi Nazrul Islam, who helped instill the nationalistic outlook in him. A disciple of Alauddin Khan, Pannalal is credited with popularizing the flute as a concert instrument in Hindustani classical music and also the pioneer of Indian classical flute.
Pannalal was born on the 24th of July 1911 at Barisal, now in Bangladesh, in a family of musicians. Young Pannalal was highly receptive and absorbed good music from various sources. In 1928, Ghosh became a part of the Indian independence movement. He joined a gymnasium and learned martial arts, boxing and stick fighting.
As he became more involved in the independence movement, the government started keeping a close watch. He had to flee to Kolkata. His childhood friend and brother-in-law, Anil Biswas, also came to Kolkata due to his political leanings.
In Kolkata, Pannalal honed his musical skills and assisted in music production. In 1940, he moved to Bombay to further expand his music career. He joined the Bombay Talkies Film Studio and gave music to quite a few popular films. Pannalal also earned fame through his regular broadcasts on All India Radio and his many live performances at music festivals throughout India. His efforts and research has helped the flute gain its current form.
The true patriot that he was, Pannalal Ghosh gave stirring compositions and flute playback for the nationalistic film Andolan in 1951. The movie has actual footage of India's freedom struggle. Speeches and talks of Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru and many others are included in the narrative of this film.
Pandit Pannalal Ghosh's legacy continues with his many disciples. We salute the great nationalist and music exponent.
We remember Indian National Army member Pirthi Singh, who was born on the 20th of April 1914 in Hoshiarpur, Punjab. A soldier in the British Army, he was captured by Japanese forces in 1942 in Singapore. Pirthi Singh volunteered to join the Indian National Army on the 1st of March 1942 and fought against the Allied forces in Burma. He was martyred on the battleground in Burma in 1944. We salute the great son of the soil, Pirthi Singh.
We pay our tributes to the martyr Mangra Bhagat, who took active part in the Quit India movement in Ranchi, Jharkhand. He was arrested during the protest and sent to Patna Camp Jail on the 15th of September 1942. He died during imprisonment on the 20th of April 1943. We salute the great son of the soil.
We also remember martyr Ahmad Yar Khan, who took part in the First War of Indian Independence in 1857. Khan was a Tehsildar of Jalalabad, Uttar Pradesh, and played a prominent role as a Nazim of Jalalabad under the independence activist government. He was captured by the British troops following the defeat of the independence activists and executed by hanging on the 20th of April 1858. We salute the great freedom fighter.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
The famous Sankat Mochan Sangeet Samaroh in Varanasi will start today evening. The galaxy of musicians and vocalists will perform in the premises of the famous Sankat Mochan temple for the next 6 evenings. More from a correspondent.
The 99th Sankat Mochan Sangeet Samaroh will be organized in offline mode this time, which was not possible in last 2 years due to COVID pandemic. Mahant of the temple, Professor Vishwambarnath Mishra, told AIR that a galaxy of artists will perform in the Samaroh, which includes 15 Padma Awardees. Many father-son duos will also perform this time during the Sangeet Samaroh. Around 15 lakh music lovers watched the Sankat Mochan Sangeet Samaroh last year live when it was organized in digital mode, and the organizers have decided to live stream the musical show this time also. For AIR News, this is Sushil Chandra Tiwari.
The Union Steel Ministry will host National Metallurgist Award 2021 in New Delhi today to recognize outstanding contribution of metallurgists and engineers in the field of iron and steel. The program will be chaired by the Steel Minister Ramchandra Prasad Singh. The Steel Ministry has instituted the National Metallurgist Award after extensive deliberations with the Ministry of Home Affairs regarding rationalization of the awards in line with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla reached Hanoi yesterday on a 3-day visit to Vietnam. The Lok Sabha Speaker is leading a 13-member Indian parliamentary delegation. On the first day of the visit, Mr. Birla held bilateral meetings with both the President and Prime Minister of Vietnam. Mr. Birla said, India and Vietnam have a long tradition of mutual cooperation in challenging global circumstances. In Afghanistan, 6 people were killed, including students, in a series of explosions targeting educational institutions in the capital, Kabul, yesterday. According to the police and city's emergency hospital, more casualties are feared in the blasts which occurred in rapid succession in a mostly Shiite neighborhood of Kabul. Several of the wounded were in critical condition. The explosions occurred inside the Abdul Rahim Shaheed High School and near the Mumtaz Education Center, several kilometers away in the neighborhood of Dasht-e-Barachi in the west of Kabul.
In the Santosh Trophy Football Championships, Odisha edged out Manipur by a solitary goal at the Fine Arts Stadium in Manjeri last night. Odisha's Kartik Hantal gave his side the lead at the 37th minute of the match. With this win, Odisha has 4 points from 2 games, while Manipur has 3 points. In another encounter at Kotapadi Stadium earlier, defending champion Services beat Gujarat 3-1. In today's encounter, Punjab will take on Rajasthan at the Kotapadi Stadium at 4 p.m., while Meghalaya will challenge host Kerala at the Fine Arts Stadium at 8 p.m. In IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeated Lucknow Super Giants by 18 runs at the Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai last night. Put into bat first, Bangalore posted 181 for 6 in the stipulated 20 overs. Chasing the target, Lucknow were restricted to a total of 163 for 8 as Josh Hazelwood took 4 and Harshal Patel scalped 2 wickets. Today, Delhi Capitals will take on Punjab Kings at the Brabant Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 p.m.
In Kerala, isolated rain accompanied by lightning and thunderstorms is likely to continue till Saturday. Alert has been issued in different districts. The Met Department has forecast squally weather with strong wind gusting across the state on coming days. Weather experts say that hot and humid condition would persist in Kerala for at least a week.
Now let us have a look at the weather forecast. So today, Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Jammu is expected to have partly cloudy sky, become generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh will have generally cloudy sky. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. And Muzaffarabad will have thunderstorm with rain. Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Tribune, quoting Prime Minister Modi, writes, WHO Centre in Gujarat to usher in new era of traditional medicine. In another story, the paper writes, a first Himachal begins DNA database creation. Government setting up 75 digital banks this year, says Finance Minister, writes the Business Standard. On the violence hit Jahangirpuri in northwest Delhi, the Asian Aid says, Jahangirpuri tense but calm. 5 accused booked under National Security Act. Sri Lankan PM Rajapaksa moots clipping presidential powers to combat crisis, reports the Business Line. Sharif's cabinet takes oath in Pakistan after several delays, informs the Hindu. Indian-American Navy veteran Shanti Sethi is Kamala Harris's defense advisor, notes the Times of India. And finally, Hindustan Times reports that Macron-Le Pen prepare for crunch French election duel.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various development projects worth 22,000 crore rupees in Gujarat today, to also inaugurate Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit in Gandhinagar. Prime Minister holds talks with WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, says Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar aims to bring ancient wisdom and modern science together. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says at Atlantic Council in Washington, D.C., India took big decision of not to levy tax on people to get out of the pandemic. Centre asked Delhi and 4 other states to take prompt and effective measures over surge in COVID cases. UGC eases norms for dual and joint degrees with foreign universities. Lashkar-e-Taiba Commander Sheikh Sajjad notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. At least 6 people killed, including students, after a series of explosions hit capital city Kabul in Afghanistan. Odisha defeat Manipur by a solitary goal in Santosh Trophy. And in IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore beat Lucknow Super Giants by 18 runs in Mumbai. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.